All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy. All right, welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. I'm your host, Julian Gill. Today we've got sliding in right as the timer was going off, Mark Anthony K.
Greetings.
A very happy winner this week, St. Louis Kiss.
Hooray! Still alive.
And Ken.
In Browning we trust.
Hey, Ken. I'm always winning. Come on.
And Ken. Yeah,
Right.
Not too bad. The Bengals with some with damaged goods. They're actually still around. So
Making it fun.
there you go. And Brock Purdy's still on track for a good
MVP.
Yeah. All right. So I want to thank everyone for joining us live this week. Gregory Pegg in the house, Jamie Ingram, Opal Archive, Ronnie Parker, always early, Ronnie, Steve H, 67, Canberra, Australia. God knows what time it is there. Must be early. So thank you for joining us live. Yeah, today's episode is a little bit about reflecting, a little bit about looking forward to 2024. I don't know what the schedule is going to be like next week after the holiday for doing a show. I'm not going to worry about it. CMAC, thank you for joining us as always. So before we get into stuff, yesterday was Peter Chris's birthday. So,
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Peter Chris. I dug out my trinity of favorite Peter demos to listen to yesterday, which are, of course, Chris, Do You Know What I Mean? Great cover of a 1971 Lee Michaels song that he did with Mark St. John and then with early incarnation of Chris, I believe. And then I go back to 1985, The Desperate Men, a.k.a. The Alliance. Some very cool stuff. And then an outtake from Out of Control. Could It Be Love? So that was my day yesterday. Who's gotten some shit this week? Ken, did you get some mail finally?
I did. Finally.
Show us some shit.
I'll say a few things. Looks like Mark does too. But, yesterday.
If you have the same stuff, I'll let you show it. So.
Okay. Yesterday I got the shiny, look it up.
Holy shit, that looks good.
Picture disc box.
That in the light looks really good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I haven't played them or anything, but you got the three different.
It's in an actual slip sleeve.
It's a slip case. If you look, you can see.
It looks like a mini box set almost. It's really well done.
Yeah, I mean the pictures are nice. Again, I haven't tried playing it or anything because pictures just usually don't sound the greatest. But there's been some lately. They seem to sound better these days. I don't know if they're doing something different or whatever, or heavier vinyl. But blimey,
could be.
So that's that one, and then I guess I'll just one other thing. I'll just thing here, kind of KissFAQ related, I guess you could say. Look at this. Project Gemini. I got
very
it.
Nice.
I just need to play it. I got it today. Mark.
Very nice.
Came today. So yeah. So I'm looking forward to putting that on my turntable. So
That doesn't take very long to get through. That's good.
yeah.
Less than 24 hours. Holy shit. All right. I got some stuff this week because I traded in that god-awful lithograph from Night 2 Madison Square Garden. And I think I'd mentioned that it sold for some stupid amount of money on eBay. But I used the same amount to get gouged myself to buy my gold drumsticks for. Obviously,
Nice.
these are not drumsticks
Made of gold.
Yeah, he doesn't play these. He uses just regular wooden sticks. I've got one. Actually,
I have the 2 sticks back here.
Yeah, you got some as well. So I got that. I also did an order from Kiss Pick Haven because they weren't throwing out very many picks during the show. So I wanted.
Actually, let me go get my thing. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
Go get it.
So I got some of the gold.
Nice.
Final show ones. They also did a very cool pick design, which is the last show, but they did the back design riffing off like the
1970s.
Yeah.
I know. I saw that. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
So
Joe said that Gene thought those were really cool.
Those are
Actually,
excellent. Yeah, and you know what? I was going through my photos yesterday as well. And guess who's photo bombing? Joe.
He's so
Just
funny.
I'm just taking a picture of the crowd, and there's Joe just standing there, looking like Joe. So that was kind of cool. Let's see which other ones I get. I got some of the individual band member ones, which I already had one from Hollywood Bowl from the sound check. Pick, so I got a full set of those now.
Good.
And then the last one is I didn't get the black ones. I didn't
That's
like
a good
those.
boy.
So yeah, I actually bought some Kiss shit this week. Thank you, KissFAQ Haven. That's where you can get all your official Kiss picks, of course. These are a little bit tougher to get, but they are up on eBay. And I've still got a pair of the black ones as well from earlier on in the tour. Why? I have a drum head as well. I've been like buying Eric Singer merch this part of the tour. So go figure. It's just what appealed to me this time around, since I could afford $18,000 guitars. Mark, what you got? Holy shit, that looks.
So
really
Yeah, but
So I got the album. It turned out really, really good, really nice. There's the back.
that looks
it-
really good.
That looks really
Yeah.
nice.
the Japanese
And it slips
reproduction.
off nice and easy. And
what she
I have
said.
to say, honestly, this is the best one that they've done easily. The material that they used for this is fantastic. Like, it's so thick and really like good material, like good
Yeah,
stock
they've used.
for this.
yeah.
There's the
Looks like
inside.
stock.
There you go. And-
That's real. That is excellent. Holy shit.
Yeah, but that's not all. Like what the
Still
stuff that comes
available, I
with
think,
this
out there.
is really, really fantastic. Like, you get this here. Let me just show you here. You get a sticker sheet, right?
Yep.
That's like the original. Uh-huh.
Yeah, to lick it up there. And then also you got let me just get in here real quick.
I'm glad you went to get that. That's really neat.
And you get this here, which is a ginormous poster.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Frame it.
Right.
There you go.
And there's one other thing that came with this, which I thought was kind of an odd thing, but it's nice to get. Where is it? It's probably back here. Oh, here it is. I got it. Yeah, maybe you guys can explain to me what the heck this is supposed to be, but it's some kind of like tabletop thing or something. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but it's like an image on one side, and on the other side, there's this other sort of like image to it, right?
Like you flip it over kind of thing.
It's like a glossy, like, I don't know what this would be like. What measurement? Like 5 by
Like
7
an
or
extra large postcard or something.
yeah.
it's
It's
interesting.
really odd. Like,
Might have just been a repro of point of sales
Something.
bonus item.
Oh, could have
from
been.
Japan. I
No,
don't
they
remember
call-
what
they-
came with that.
on the sticker, the hype sticker, they call it a desk pad. Okay.
Something interesting. Different. Yeah.
And here's the inner sleeve. Again, I'm not too happy the fact that it's not, polyline, but it's nice. It's really, it's good. It's not flimsy, but the vinyl looks actually pretty interesting on this one.
Poor Lonnie. He's
I'm
got
just
no
thinking
merch
here.
to show off.
I have what Ken has.
So it's like a splatter,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No, it's cool looking. I
Yeah,
haven't seen that.
Should have been
Yeah.
hot pink for all the
think the,
contributions Vinny made to this album.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good. Honestly, I gotta say, I got a lot of these, records that came out from them over the years, and this one I think was the best done as far as getting extras, as far as the kind of materials they use for the jackets and everything. It's really, really good. I would
You're gonna
highly
make me
recommend it. And
open
it's not
mine.
sold out. So
No, it's
You're
not
gonna
sold
make me
out.
open mine. I haven't opened mine yet.
This one has the liner, the good.
yeah, there you
polyliner
go. That's
kind
what
of
they
thing.
should have done.
Yeah, that's
for
that's
the
the old
Picture discs.
that looks like the UK picture.
Yeah, there's
sleeve.
2 of them.
Is there a booklet or anything in there, Ken?
No booklet.
No.
Yeah, that would have been
Okay.
nice, huh? I guess we'll have to wait for the box set, right?
What's the other
This
side?
one, here's the
Oh yeah, so that's the I think Canada had that as well.
All Hell's Breaking
And,
Loose.
and
Yeah.
Spain certainly issued that as a
Yeah.
7-inch.
So it's a nice little.
Actually, the Lick It Up that Ken showed was also Canada had a 7-inch with that image as well.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I mean, I'm very excited by the amount of enthusiasm at this round table, and also in the comments about piece of Kiss merch issued in 2023, because that's going to be part of what we talk about today. It's the highs, the low. Well, we're not going to really focus too much on the lows. We're going to keep it positive. Just one last bit of item that arrived this week. I did get the physical for Volume 3. Should be out tomorrow. I just don't see the final box score showing up anytime soon. And unlike Magic, I'm not going to wait forever in hopes that they do drop. Because I can always edit the manuscript and add them in. So let's get into
song giving.
Well, unfortunately, it's just going to always be the butt end of a joke, and that's just sad. To you want to make a mark on life, and in a community, and you end up being the butt of a joke.
Yeah.
So it's either magic or strike. Or what do you want to be? All right. So looking back at 2023, and yeah, there's a week to go, but I really don't see Kiss as surprising as quite yet. Lonnie, what have been your top merchandise moments in 2023 when you think about the stuff that you bought, wanted to bought, or maybe even passed on, looking back over the year?
2023 was weird because, we only got the one off the soundboard at the beginning of the year. And they kind of almost scaled back a little bit, focusing on the tour so much. But as far as merch goes, I really love my final 50 dates tour book that I got. It has the countdown, has a cool logo that they came out with for these final 50 dates. And then the Madison Square Garden tour book that Julian acquired for me as well. Those two tour books are probably my favorite. I know they're very comparable to the tour books over the last couple of years. But those two, I think, will stand the test of time for me as far as really cool merch down the road. But that Look It Up that I just got that Ken was showing off too. That's right up there too. That's very, very well done. Like I said, it looks like a mini box set. You could put it next to your Destroyer and your Creatures and your solo album box set, and it fits right in. It belongs with those. It's very well done.
Was there any merch that you passed up on this year that you're just really on the fence about, but you could never come around to actually pulling the trigger on it for whatever reason?
I don't know, because I feel like that there wasn't, as crazy as it sounds, and I think we've talked about this, there wasn't as much out there. I think the band was really focused more on the tour. I know there's some different, I don't know, these dolls and that people have, and that showed up on the internet recently. They look kind of cool, but I don't know. I mean, maybe the fact that I passed on a T-shirt at a Kiss concert was kind of strange for me. But other than that, I don't think there's anything that I'm really like, oh, geez, I wish I would have bought that, because in my opinion, I don't think there was as much, which was strange. I thought they would, being Kiss, you would think they would just flood it so much for this last go around, but they didn't.
They did flood it, because looking at the merch stands at Madison Square Garden, I couldn't decide which T-shirt, kind of to get. So I'm not too miserable about them now offering them again on Kiss Online for order, because I can go back there and decide if I want to get night 1 and night 2 specific T-shirt. I'm not actually going to, because it's $60 a pop. Forget it. I've got my one T-shirt, and I was there, and I don't need to have a raglan. That doesn't look good on a fat guy anyway. But Mark, merch-wise, you were getting enthusiastic showing off the Japanese version of that Lick It Up. What are some of the top pieces of merch that you've purchased this year? And that'll be the same question as the stuff that you passed on as well.
Well, I mean, that Lick It Up has to be easily the top one for this year. I was actually kind of shocked at how good that one turned out to be, because I wasn't expecting it to be that good, and I'm very happy that they did such a fantastic job with that, because it's going to be definitely something that I'll be listening to and checking out. The other stuff that I was pleased with is I was very happy with my purchase of the infamous Kiss Unmasked shirt that I seem to wear quite often on the podcast here. That was one of my better buys. I thought that I really enjoy that T-shirt and wear it quite often. So that's another thing that I like. That I'm always happy with their T-shirts. I like to get as many of them as I can get. And the other two releases that I got, I have to say were pretty good as well. I thought the Alive 3 that they did this year was pretty nice when that came out. That turned out pretty cool. And even the Psycho Circus I thought was not too bad. I mean, it could have been much worse. That wasn't, it's not our favorite record, but they did a decent job in redoing that as well. So I'm always for the vinyl when that comes out. I like to go and grab that whenever possible. But the Lick It Up turned out fantastic. I mean, if they're going to continue with that sort of, attention to detail and maybe, giving us some other options, but besides just doing a straight US reissue of it, I'll be on board to getting any other records that they put out. So I think they did a great job with that. And really, I don't think I passed on too many things that that were of interest to me. Whatever I obviously I got what I wanted, but there wasn't anything that was out there that that I thought was terrible either. But I got what I got. Let's just put it that way.
Ken.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of like with Mark. The Lick It Up is probably the best item. I could have picked up. The little box of the picture disc, and then I think I'm going to get mine in the next couple of days. The what Mark has, the reproduction of the Japanese release. So that looks cool. So I'll be happy. I'll put it next to my other official Japanese one that I have. So that'd be cool. I'll just kind of compare it and so on. But I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully I'm guessing it's the same mastering as 2014 stuff. All of this stuff. But as far as other things, there hasn't been that much other than these, reproduction or picture discs and that sort of thing. Off the soundboard, like Lonnie mentioned early in the year, and that kind of stopped. Something I passed up on, probably more recently, is this. Then putting I really like that black bomber jacket, from the 50th, the black and white deal that they have there. I mean, it's like a varsity jacket kind of thing. That looks really cool, but man, it's $350. So
pretty pricey.
I was like, maybe I'll save it for another item next year. Hopefully something like, a box set would be nice. If Universal was doing any proper planning, it would have been nice if they could have done, the 50th anniversary of the first album box set. I would love that. But I'm sure that will not happen.
So Ken, you didn't buy the $750 pendant that was on sale?
The big banner deal? Yeah. No, was it $750? Holy cow.
Yeah, $750.
And the pendant.
Is it made out of, is it gold plated?
Nope.
Please.
It should be for that price.
It's got frilly shit on the side.
It's cool looking. I saw it, but I thought, that's a lot.
It's pretty steep.
I can't buy. I'm not a Kiss fan that buys everything. As just certain things that stick out to me that I like.
Yeah, so this year, what's my high point? I'm going to have to say the Poughkeepsie off the soundboard, because that just came way the hell out of left field. And never knowing that it was there or existed, it was just a massive surprise. And it wasn't like getting Donington or, some of the other off the soundboards. While they're equally good and interesting, just something that I had no idea was going to happen, was very cool. So that was probably the high point. Yeah, I bought the Alive 3 and then got rid of it. I can't even remember what I did with that.
You sold it to me.
Oh, did I? I bought this thing for some insane reason and still have to get rid of it. I don't think there was a whole lot of merch that really caught my fancy. I didn't get the Lick It Up. I didn't get, what was the other one that came before that?
Psycho Circus.
Psycho Circus.
Yeah, well, clearly I did. I can't deny that now.
Mhm.
So there wasn't a lot of merch, but going to New York City for Madison Square Garden, and getting the tour book, drumsticks, I did get merch this year, and I bought more merch than I usually do. At Hollywood Bowl, like I said, I got drumsticks, and I got the drum head with the really stinking naff sticker for 50th or 50 shows just put over the previous logo, which I thought was really tacky, and I wish I'd noticed that before I dropped the coin on it, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have. So I didn't get what I didn't want. I mean, I don't just buy merch anymore. There weren't a lot of rare collectibles that came up either to battle for this year. Again, Kiss seemed to dial back all the projects. They just seemed to stop. Nothing was getting announced. Nothing is being hinted at. The usual people who have some idea of what's happening are all of a sudden either quiet or have no clue. Probably both. So it just seemed that all the focus was on give us all your money for concert tickets. So I did that this year. It was an expensive trip going to New York for the 2 shows, and I wouldn't change a thing. So I don't have any regrets. There's nothing that I passed up, that I kind of thought about getting. I never thought twice about getting Lick It Up. I'm like, I'm not interested in that unless it's a 40th anniversary box set for Lick It Up. I'm not buying it. So it never entered into the equation. And as excited as I've gotten today seeing it from Mark and Ken showing it off, thank you.
Shiny.
I'm not going out and buying it, and it's still available because they bumped the numbers up, equally. Just like I haven't started buying all 29 versions of 10,000 Volts on different colors.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And I still don't know what the Japanese one. All right, Lonnie, top musical moments of 2023 when it comes to Kiss. What would be yours?
You're muted, Lonnie.
No, he's choking.
he pulled a Ken. Yes.
I pulled a Ken. Sorry about that. Musical moments. I mean, I guess seeing them. I don't know. As far as musical moments go, I mean, maybe Poughkeepsie, the off the soundboard. I mean, that was really, really cool to hear. It's very different version of the band that most people have never heard before. I think those two, that off the soundboard, like Julian said earlier, really came out of left field. And not only was it focusing on the non-makeup period, which we all know gets overlooked way too often, but it was a version of the non-makeup period that, obviously is very rare. So I thought that was a cool musical moment, is hearing what that band sounded like in 1984 with Mark St. John. And then I guess the other musical moment is seeing them for the final time on those final 50 dates.
With your brother?
With my brother.
I mean,
who's getting a new dog on Saturday. He's very excited.
Well, puppies aren't just for Christmas.
He knows. His dog died a month ago. He's been down in the dog, so he's excited.
Oh, well, good. Yeah, again, going to the concerts this year has been special. It's one of those really weird things. Mark, for whatever question I just asked. Oh yeah, top musical moments. Sorry, I probably should have printed this out. But what was yours?
Well, I mean, as we all know, I didn't get a chance to see them in Toronto because they didn't play in Toronto. So that could have probably been mine. But what's this, Mark? I don't know. Like bootlegs too much, but it's okay. Anyways, yeah. So. I don't know. For me, I guess one of them would be the same with Lonnie said. I guess that very odd release on the soundboard that came out was an interesting listen. I mean, I've listened to it a few times, actually, probably more times than I thought I would have actually listened to it. Because I thought that when I got it, I would probably listen to it once or twice and put it away. But I did listen to it probably at least 12 times, I would say, easily. I always find it very interesting because it's a period of time where we have a guitar player who we didn't get to hear live very much, and the solos that he played were radically different in some ways than the original. So I found that very interesting. And, having listened to every other sort of live thing that came out from Kiss over the years, you're so used to the way they played those songs. To hear Mark St. John do them was a little bit of a breath of fresh air, to be quite honest. But other than that, I think that my musical moments are always kind of stemmed around the live bootlegs. Whenever I go on YouTube, I always see once in a while something come up like, oh, this came out. This is a new remastered version of some '95 show that's happened, or some something got redone in '96, or like whenever I see stuff like that, I always tend to watch it because I love the live performance end of Kiss. I always have. I always thought that they were great, especially in that time period, between like 89 to like 96, they were extremely strong, I thought. So whenever I see video for that, I always go and watch that. I thoroughly enjoy that.
Well, both of you said off the soundboard, so let's just skip to 2024 quickly, and then I'll get Ken for all of the questions. Lonnie, if you could have one off the soundboard in 2024, since we only got one in 2023, what would it be? What would get you most excited?
Child, please. You know what kind of answer I'm going to give you.
Yeah.
And that's something from the Revenge lineup. I mean, come on. We have a reunion lineup off the soundboard. We have a 70s off the soundboard. We have a Tommy and Eric off the soundboard. We have a Ace and Eric Singer from Japan off the soundboard. Let's get that Revenge lineup, either something from around 92 or South America 94, Japan 95, I think would be fantastic. If not that, maybe something like 1990 with Hot in the Shade would be fun as well.
Nice, good pick. I'm not surprised you said that. I just,
I mean, come on.
I was curious whether you're going to go 94 or 95, because there are some.
95 would be my pick.
There are some powerful performances from that whole era, and we've kind of already had the Revenge Alive 3 stuff. So no, I'm with you, Mark.
Well, for me, there's one thing I'm always keeping my fingers crossed for, and that's I want an Asylum tour. One that's one I think that's an era that's always overlooked. It's very scarce as far as video is concerned as well online, and I think that they definitely have probably something decent in the vault somewhere, some sort of a soundboard, because these guys, around those times, it was always popular to have the simulcast performance in America. Like you always see those kind of things when they're having, broadcast live from blah, 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 blah. And they always put it on the radio. So there's got to be some decent recordings from the Asylum tour. And that's my favorite album. And I always thought that, they should, take a look at that era as well. They did do an Animalized one, obviously, with Poughkeepsie. So why not do an Asylum one? And, and do something early, because they always tend to play stuff from the album early on and then dump them after a song or two. After a show or two. So, it might be good to get something in early if possible.
Nice. And like Poughkeepsie, we'll never know necessarily what they have available. Ken, top musical moments of the year, and then your off the soundboard pick for 2024.
Musical moments. I'm kind of like Mark, where you go and find some YouTube concerts and things like that. What was that?
No one likes
that is not true.
No one likes the silent part.
That's hilarious.
Hey,
Well, there we go. Thanks, Steve.
To each their own,
Thank you.
Anyway, I'm like Mark, where YouTube, finding concerts or better version and listening to them there, or watching and listening, I guess. As far as musical moments, that's about it for me with Kiss this year, and watching some of the current shows that they have out there. As far as what's the other one, the live stuff or off the soundboard. I still would like a 77 Japan, kind of where they were going to do the Rock and Roll Party live instead of a live 2. Something with that, or there's a few things. There's Australia 80, There's Hot in the Shade, and then from Revenge, I would, if they recorded the '92 club at the Stone in San Francisco, I would love that one. That would be great. I bet you they recorded it. I bet you they did.
Gotta take care of the Revenge.
I'd love to have that one.
Actually, I want to add in one last thing really quickly. If they could actually find an old, like early, like first tour, second tour era recording that doesn't sound like it's played underwater, and actually do because every bootleg that I have that's on vinyl, it's like sounds like terrible. It's like all the guitars sound like they're underwater, and even the broadcast stuff sounds like shit. So if they can find a decent one, put it on vinyl and release it, I'd be very obliged for that.
All right, top musical moments of 2023. Obviously, Madison Square Garden and Hollywood Bowl are two very big musical moments. Even with the band kind of limping through the finish line, it was still being with my tribe at those shows, both of which were special. So they are what they are. Poughkeepsie by far is a strong musical moment as well. But there's been a few others that have been standouts for me. Let's see if I can get this to show up. Buffalo Rock City, the second CD. Strongly recommend this, people. Bandcamp, it is available. It is a really stunningly put together tribute project with an attention to care and detail in the soundtrack. What was that, a microwave?
Microwave.
It's a bomb.
Ken, are you heating up a pizza?
Yeah, it's right behind me. I'm going to get it out in a second.
Jillian's monologuing. He's going to
just waiting for the ding.
He thought he was muted.
Another one which has
been
mentioned is the Eric Carr Rockology. You know, obviously I've heard all this stuff, but there were some bonus tracks on this. You know, so again, some good musical moments in 2023. I think there were some things that surfaced, which is always good. Off the soundboard for next year. Oh shit. You know, I know Lonnie's gone with Revenge. I know Mark's gone with Asylum. I'd be good with both of those. Ken mentioned Unmasked as a possibility. What would I really like? I would like another. I like Lick It Up.
Save it for the box set.
Yeah. As part of a box set. Musical moment in just like Creatures had the faux Creatures Tour soundboard, which was a combination of several soundboards. I would love the Lick It Up tour to be treated in a similar manner, because they did just as many songs from that album live, not of all of which made it to the end. But if I had to pick a dedicated off the soundboard, Asylum.
That'd be good.
Because I think we're more likely to get Revenge, as it's deemed to be a more popular era, and I wouldn't complain about it. I wouldn't complain about any off the soundboard for that matter.
True.
So
right. I don't think any of us would at this point.
Yeah, just give us something, anything, please. All right. Top personal moments of 2023. So either on your own or group, whatever. Involves people. What was the biggest people moment for you in the year, or some of the notable ones? Lonnie, I'll start with you again.
Well, I think for me it's really easy. My top personal moment when I look at that is obviously just the whole day when they were here, October 25th, 2023, working half a day, meeting at my brother's house, going downtown, having a few beers and little early dinner with him, and just sitting there and just BSing together for several hours before the show and drinking beer, and then going to the show together one last time and just experiencing what we experienced together in 96. He saw him in 92. I did not. That's another story. We've told about that before. But seeing them together one last time and being there with each other, and him putting his arm around me after the curtain is dropped and telling me there's no one else I'd rather be here with. And, telling him the same sentiment that, this is our band. This is our thing. And no one can take it away from us, and here we are together at what's going to be the end in St. Louis. So personal moment is just sharing that whole day, that whole experience with him and just soaking it all in at the very end one last time.
Nice. There is absolutely nothing better than that.
No.
But I'll try. Mark?
Well, I didn't get, like I said, I didn't get to go see them. I didn't get to do anything really along the lines of, any sort of meet and greets or anything like that, and nothing like that. But I did have one good Kiss-related moment, personal one for me, and I enjoyed this very much. Now, and this is still one of these things that I still go back to quite often, and it's given me a lot of enjoyment over the years. As this, okay. When I got this book, I really enjoyed it, and it's given me hours and hours and hours of great reading. And just like the Peter, Paul, Ace, and Gene one there, that I still go back to, and even the Elder one, which I still go back to, this is probably my favorite personal Kiss moment this year. When this came out, I was actually surprised at how good it was. Not that I thought that your books are not good. It's just that I thought that this was way.
Some are less good than others.
Well, I mean, no,
He's taking shots at you.
Yeah, less good.
But this is an era that I thought at first, how much information could there really be? But man, there's so much information about this era. It's stunning. The pictures inside there are fantastic. It's nice and colored, and like it's color stuff in here. It's not just black and white. And there's so many things, and the fact that you put like contract stuff in here too, which is my little, my magical spot, which I really enjoy. Whenever I see that, I always get excited. So this for sure was the personal high point for me this year. And if you guys don't own this, you can't call yourselves a real Kiss Army person if you don't own this. Okay.
Oh yeah,
this is a must have and must own in any Kiss fans collection.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Mark. That means a lot. Obviously, I've tried to improve my craft as I've gone along, and some of the earlier books are dodgy. I look back at them and I cringe. But again, it's a learning curve. It's a continuous learning curve of improve, and try to improve and fall on my face. Still, why is it no longer available? It was always intended just to be a limited edition, to be special, because it was in color and it had a higher price point. I didn't want it to be a permanent release. No other reason. Doesn't mean I can't do additional printings of it and let it out for a period of time if there's demand. But really, it needs to be something special, and I don't want to get into the mass market business for color. But thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that, Mark. Ken?
Yeah, for me, since I didn't, see any Kiss shows, I mean, I saw 3 on End of the Road, and then I kind of just said, that's it. So as far as this year, no other big gatherings or anything, I would have to say it's this, doing this every, week, this podcast and meeting up with you guys, and then and if whoever wants to watch it and join in on the fun, it's great. But I thoroughly enjoy this, or else I wouldn't be here, talking about Kiss and all this that we do. So it's got to be this, at least for this year. Otherwise, there's really not a whole lot happened as far as gatherings for me, at least this last year. I went to some concerts and stuff like that, but that wasn't Kiss, or it was some other stuff. But this is the the highlight of the week kind of thing, and it happens every week, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And talking with you guys and the other guys who come on here too, not just us 4.
Well, thank you. I mean, that means a lot to hear as well. I'm sure Mark and Lonnie agree. I mean, getting together and just talking Kiss with you guys is fun, week in, week out. And now that we're doing these live most of the time and able to broaden our community further. I mean, I don't put every comment up, Chuck, but I do read them as they scroll on by. I can't really follow Ken. I mean, since I do kind of host this, I'm supposed to probably say this, but I'm sorry, guys. In 2023, I had a personal moment that can't be beat. I've got a photo, and I don't grin like an idiot very often, but going to Charlotte for the spooky thing, and sitting with Peter all day while he signed for the fans who were waiting to come in and meet him was just absolutely amazing. Just to be with him and to kind of experience the love he receives from the fans and how much he means to them, and conversely, how much they mean to him. It was an absolutely amazing day. Team Catman is absolutely fantastic bunch of fans who are all there to help make the day go as smoothly as possible for everyone and their signings, to make sure their stuff is dried, make sure they're happy, make sure they're taken care of, make sure they're ready to go in so that it's all smooth and streamlined. But that grin at the end of the day, and you have to remember, I had a 16-hour flight delay. I was up for 30 hours by the time that day started and the doors opened. I hadn't gotten more than, I think, 20 minutes sleep from the delay at SFO after the emergency return after the fire in the plane. You know, so I was absolutely fried. And, you know, the day didn't go as I hoped it would. But at the end of the day, to have that grin, that was just absolutely amazing personal moment. Another great one is obviously Hollywood Bowl with close friends, having a box for that and being able to take some friends who might not necessarily get to go in a box was very, very cool. But it is about the people. Madison Square Garden was about the people. This show is about the people. But you all lost out to Peter Criss in 2023, so at least you're losing out to the very best. Avatars, I'm not talking avatars. Sorry, not enough information about avatars. Down the road, maybe we will, maybe we won't. You know, have to wait and see. I'm not going to write it off.
See what happens.
Yeah, I'll wait and see. Is my interest level high? Am I excited about avatars? No, I've just spent the day listening to the 1973 demo on repeat. So, all right, biggest excitement, and I'm not sure what did you get the most excited about in 2023? Was there anything that you were just looking forward to, and you're like a 4-year-old kid again? Lonnie, I'm going to bet it's your people person, your people moment again. Excited about going to that concert with your brother, or was there something else that got you beat up?
I guess there's two at the very end. I was excited about that concert with my brother. You know, I'm gonna sound like a broken record today. But just getting to do that one more time with him, because we had said our goodbye in 2019, and I really didn't think they'd come back again for another round, but you know, COVID happens and life happens, and even when they're on Stern and they released those original dates, St. Louis wasn't on there, and you know, a couple weeks later they announced a handful more dates, and St. Louis is one of them. So getting to do that again was my biggest excitement all year, waiting for that. And I guess number two is the pay-per-view. I mean, I was excited for that. I mean, this was it. We were going to experience the Last Kiss concert together yet apart, you know, all of us at the same time. I mean, and every Uber Kiss fan around the world is sitting there glued to their TV watching it just one more time. I mean, yeah, it was, we talked about it a few weeks ago that, yeah, it was the same show that we've all seen the last couple of years, but it was the last Kiss show, I guess, for now. So
for now, you can't Kiss fans.
It's hard to believe, right?
For now.
It's hard to believe.
We don't know. So, but the lead up to those two events was probably the most excited I've been for any Kiss thing in quite a while. Actually, were those two events.
Yeah, nice. Mark, did you get excited about anything in 2023?
Well, I mean, whenever they announced, the few times that they did announce something as far as the record reissues, I got excited about that. I mean, I was like collecting those. That's kind of a high point for me. The other thing that I got kind of excited about was in fact the final show, watching it on there, and I also got excited about that because I knew that Mead and Daniel and Lonnie and Ken were going to do that thing after the show was done. So I was kind of looking forward to doing that to see what was going on with that. And while I was watching my I had my view of the final show on. I was always going back to Daniel's live stream of him doing it. He was doing it. He was talking about it while it was being broadcast on his own YouTube channel. So it was always kind of fun to watching him and the hordes of people who kept asking him, "Put the camera on your TV. Put the camera on your TV." He's like, "No, no, no." It was fun to watch him negotiate the people that wanted a free view of the show. But talking about it at the end again was pretty fun. But there was one thing that I was excited about, but my excitement got pulled from the rug from under me, was the final Toronto show, because okay, like I said, I wasn't overly over the moon about going to see the Kiss, because I mean Kiss, I've seen them so many dozens of times, and like we've already established, it's the same show. But I wanted to see Crownlands. I mean, that was they were openers, and they were the ones that I didn't see, and I was so excited about them to see. It was almost like a throwback concert in my mind, because it was like seeing a Rush type band with Kiss, like they did back in the 70s. Rush opened for a Kiss like in 74, 75 or something like that, right? So, and Crownlands are the next wave of Rush. They totally are. Okay, and I thought that would have been so cool to witness something like that. So, but of course,
they're going to
Paul
open for Rush on Rush's next tour.
That's right. Perfect.
That'd be odd, mind you, but you never know. You never know. We'll see what happens. That's one thing that I am kind of interested about in 2024. Will the Rush thing happen? We'll see.
All right, where are we? Ken.
Yeah, well, what got me excited is I got a tax refund. That was pretty good. No, something.
Wow.
It wasn't that much, Mark. So, I have to say one thing was Ace Frehley. Having new music is kind of exciting. I mean, the first song was, I kind of expected more 78, so because that was, they were hyping it up, but it's not bad. It's actually decent song. It's good. But I'm hoping there's other stuff on there that's, better than that. Otherwise, though, yeah, the pay-per-view thing, seeing it, watching it, wow, I think they said this was like 400,000 views or people, or I don't know how much. It was a lot of people streaming that thing. And then I watched a little bit of the replay of it today, the pay-per-view. And I started to sink in a little more about, this, I think this really is, that's it. I really don't think they're going to be back. Even if they are offered a lot of money, I don't think they're going to come back as a live on stage kind of band. So yeah, it was just kind of sinking into me. I was like, oh yeah, I think that's it. I think the next thing hopefully I'll get is, Gene Simmons band, hopefully coming. I hope that happens.
Yeah, we've all kind of talked about Sunshine. I'm not talking about the stuff that got me excited this year, because I can't talk about the stuff that got me excited this year. Therefore, there's no point. Maybe I'll make something up like, the Morpheus Society meeting in New York got me really excited. The menu was spectacular. But we've been pretty rose-tinted glasses here. Very positive about 2023. Mark, what was your biggest letdown of 2023? What was your shit moment? Now you get to go into beat on the brat. Go for it.
Well, I mean, I think I already touched on it, was not being able to go to the show. That was the one thing that was really a big disappointment for me, because I in the end I did get myself psyched up to go to see it, and but Paul's health prevented that, but that was fine. I think the other thing that was kind of was a disappointment was the fact that we just didn't get as much stuff this year, as far as like a box set or anything like that, than we did in prior years. I mean, we've gotten too used to, or we were getting too spoiled as far as that goes, But I don't think so though, because most bands that are in this sort of phase of their career now, where they're winding down, I see bands that are putting out, box sets maybe twice a year. different albums, spread out throughout the year. And, I think Kiss has every, reason or, right to do that as well. But like you said, they completely, stopped production on that. And maybe you're right. Maybe that Julian, maybe it's because of the fact that they wanted to focus on the whole concert end of it and not, focus so much on the other end of it. Yeah. So
Try
that's
being a Van
definitely-
Halen fan. Look at all the Van Halen leaks this year. Holy shit. Van Halen fans should be happy. Lonnie.
Jordan's had a bad week with the Van Halen and then the Bengals coming back and beating the Vikings on Saturday. Sorry, I had to get that in there.
Now you can move on to your biggest letdown in 2020.
Now I'll move on to my biggest letdown. Sorry, Jordan. My biggest letdown was that the off the soundboard stopped after the Poughkeepsie show. I was really enjoying them and enjoying the once a quarter kind of build up to the next one. That was a letdown for me. And I guess my other letdown is the fact that we joked about it back in March when the final 50 shows were announced. We said, well, what if the last show is exactly like all the other shows? And we all kind of laughed like, oh, that's not going to happen, blah, 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 blah. And it turns out the last show was exactly like the other 49 shows. So that's my other biggest letdown.
Yeah, there is that. Ken.
Where is that?
Yeah, the box set stopping, or being paused for whatever reason. I think we were supposed to get something, and they halted it for whatever reason. Again, maybe it is something to do with them being focused on the final 50, shows or whatever this year. The other thing that is I let down is just how they ended the last show. Not so much the Avatar. I think they should have waited on the Avatar thing. Save that for maybe February 18th or whatever next year.
April the 1st.
April Fools. That would have been, maybe that would make more sense, actually.
Good, yeah.
But the other part of it is that the last show is just not giving anyone their due, with Ace and Peter and Bruce, Bruce, Eric Carr, Mark, Vinny, the whole bunch of them, not saying anything or not showing anything special on screen different, like thank you to the rest of our Kiss family, blah, 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 put their names up or whatever. It's just kind of, that's it. We're gone. See you later kind of thing. And
see you later. We're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere, but yeah, they are.
Wait, we're back. We're no longer butter. We're margarine.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. That just kind of, I just didn't like that part of it. I thought there would be, should have been, I don't know how they're going to do that now. The moment has passed. How can you come back and give proper thanks to those guys? I don't know.
No.
You can't, you don't, but you also don't need to, because every Kiss fan knows that the foundation of Kiss was the 4 original members, but they were supported by a very large cadre of people. I mean, it almost becomes like the thank you list at some Oscar speeches that just could go on forever. I mean, you go down the list of Joyce, of Neil, of Bill, of Sean, of Moose, of Chris, of Ant-Man, whatever. It would just go on forever. The people that helped get them where they were going, and then the people who helped them keep going. Eric Carr, managers and people who took on those roles in the 80s. It would just be an interminable list that would just never end and would have a lot of people saying, who? Maybe like Gene Simmons' solo album back cover. So I get the lack of emotion. I also get the fact that they were probably under a lot of emotional duress at being the end of the road for them. I mean, this is it, but I do think that it was a terrible moment. It was a massive letdown this year that it ended that way, as nothing but a setup for a freaking commercial.
Yeah. It was a commercial.
And it's to be determined whether that's a blockbuster or a straight to video release. We just don't know. But I also think that probably a greater letdown was the lack of box sets. You start off with Destroyer, following year Creatures, and then you let it go. You just nothing. You let the off the soundboards go. Nothing. So
drop the ball.
There better have been a good reason, because I don't want to just buy shirts. I don't want to buy reissues of albums that I already own 19 copies of. I'm just past that. I have the music. I don't need it repackaged in whatever the current format is, as good as it looks. So that was the biggest letdown for me, was the lack of respect for their archive. Lonnie, where do they go in 2024?
I think we know where they want to go in 2024. I think they need to step back, and they won't, but I think they need to step back and say that they can do this Avatar thing. If that's what they want to do, they can do it. And it's up to the fans, and it's up to other people to decide if they want to buy it or not. But where do they go? I think we've talked about it for an hour, is they need to get back to these off the soundboards. They need to get back to these deluxe box sets. That's what people like the 4 members of this podcast. That's what people like, the people that are commenting on this show currently, people that are going to listen to this show when it's posted on iTunes and everywhere else. That's what the Kiss fans want, is we want more music. We want more. Give us more live shows. Give us more box sets. You want to throw your avatars out there and see what happens? That's great. Do that, but also do this. Give the fans who supported you for 50 years more of what we've supported. Give us those shows. Give us those box sets.
Yeah, I don't think you Mark. I think the other Mark. They most certainly have multi-track, and they. Who is they? They, it could be whoever you want they to be. There are multi-tracks to many concerts, more than one. So it's all a matter of business. It's all a matter of shit that's more complex than we would like it to be as music fans. And I'm just going to jump in where I want them to go in 2024. I don't care about what Paul may do, because I don't know what he may do. If it's around the arts realm, I'm not that particularly interested. Gene Simmons may tour with the Gene Simmons band. That's perfectly fine. I want the archive. I want the stuff that I have not heard. I am interested in the music. I'm not worried about the people, because the people, come on, they've earned a rest. They've earned being lazy. Gene's going to do what Gene's going to do. Gene is Gene. Gene only knows one way of living, and that's making a deal. So I can't wait to see some of the things he does. Paul and Gene as partners, I have no idea. I don't really care, as long as the archive is separated from blocking issues, so that we can have regularly scheduled visits from off the soundboard and box set. So that's what I want in 2024. I don't care about the avatars at this point, but that doesn't mean that I won't at some point down the road. Mark, what do you want in 2024?
I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly the same thing that I want. I mean, I want more music. I want more of the live stuff. I want more box set stuff. I mean, these are the things that, when they said that they were going to call it a day, this was the thing that we were hoping they would focus on a lot more once they, wrap up this other end of it. So let's see now if that'll actually come to fruition. I really hope that now that they don't have to worry about concerts anymore, or doing performances anymore, that they would actually I don't know how much involvement they have been in the other ones that were released, but at least maybe they could, put some input into it now, especially Gene. I mean, that guy has lots of stuff in his collection. I mean, he could probably help make a box set even that much more interesting by saying, look, I got this, make a replica of this and throw it into the box set, because there's a lot of this, a lot of them that we still need, but there hasn't been a proper debut album box set put out, there hasn't been a proper, Hotter Than Hell box set put out. I mean, except for the bootleggers that have done these sorts of, boxes of their own sort of releases that are interesting to look at, but definitely not as interesting to listen. Most of them sound like bunk, but but they look good. They got the right idea for what the packaging is like. But that's definitely something that I'm hoping for in the coming years, that they focus on that. Go into the catalog. There's probably lots of stuff that you have in your vaults or on your shelves. I mean, we've already seen a couple times where Paul's pulled out something. Look what I found in my box here in the in the warehouse. There's always something around that will definitely pique people's interest. So why not put it out there for everybody to enjoy?
Yeah, without a doubt. Ken.
Yeah, again, I mentioned Gene Simmons like a solo tour. I'd love to see that at least once if he decides to do it. But yeah, definitely the music is the most important thing. More box sets. If they can pull off a Kiss debut album box set, that would be great. Or Lick It Up. That one also. Anything that has demos, unreleased stuff, different takes and that sort of stuff. I like all that. That's all great stuff to check out. Off the soundboard, obviously, get that restarted up, and even possibly, I know the format is not there as far as maybe it's not Blu-rays or whatever, but I still would want a cumulative box maybe set of videos of concerts and stuff, like the Kissology stuff, past Kissology stuff, put all together in one huge kind of set, and other ones maybe they have that they can add to it, even from this tour or from other tours. I'd like to have some kind of full set of videos that, I know you can go to YouTube and all that, but, still I'd like it all in one place where I can just pull whatever I want out and put it on and watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah, let's keep Gene Simmons away from doing any more box sets on his own. Doesn't need to hand deliver them for $10,000. But I like this idea by Andrew about a best of the vaults. But I'd also like those songs to be the unedited versions, because a lot of the demos on the vault were edits that were fiddled. I'd also like them to be mastered by someone with a little bit more. Well, I'm not going to say more skill, but with more to my taste. So I thought Universal did a good job with the Creatures stuff. So a different house again. So that would be very nice. Last question before we wrap. Lonnie, what are your feels right now for avatars?
I don't.
We've had avatars thrown at us all through this episode by Chuck. So let's have an avatar question to wrap up with.
I don't have a lot of feels for avatars, to be honest. I'm indifferent. I thought that the presentation was dreadful of the last Kiss concert basically being a lead up for a commercial for the new avatars. I thought that was very well put by Ken earlier in the show. I don't have a feel for it because it doesn't interest me. I've seen Kiss. I saw Kiss 27 times. And I don't think you can put out a fake or AI Kiss that is going to give me any kind of the level of excitement or anticipation that the real thing delivered. And it does nothing for me right now. Maybe down the road it might do something for me, but I have zero or no interest, Nor do I even care.
Hey, Ken, do you care?
Do I care? Maybe a little bit. The avatars, I know Gene had said that's going to be like, it's fantasy kind of stuff in the fantasy world. And that's like,
They're going to get better. What, they're saying?
oh yeah, they're going to get better. But fantasy, I don't want fantasy. I want more realistic, I guess. If you're going to do avatars for the original fans or the older fans, they're going to want, if you're going to do Avatar, you want to do it like maybe ABBA has done it, recreate that original look of the people and so on, of the characters or whatever you want to say, call them, versus having ones that do not look like Kiss and are doing, flying around and doing other stuff. That's more for, I think, the younger kid kind of crowd of Kiss, trying to attract more kids into the Kiss Army. And that's not the easiest thing to do. You're going to have to do something very special in order to get people excited and to buy or whatever that product. And I don't think, as of right now, I can't see it succeeding in the way it was presented to us. Maybe that'll, like Gene said, it'll get better. It's going to have to get better, or else it's going to fail, like, The Elder or whatever, some of the other things they've tried to do in the past.
Yeah, how do I like my avatars? Lightly seasoned and grilled. I am not right now. I have zero
Grilled,
interest. I
burnt.
have no interest in it. But there's just going off the quality of the imagery that we saw in New York. And again, I have to balance that with the shock of the moment and the really bad, bitter taste that left and leaves. Could it be something interesting? Well, Scooby-Doo was popular. Mark was showing the video of the avatars. I don't see Kiss fans being like that. I need more information. I need to see how it develops, but I have very little interest in it right now. Again, I'm all about the archival releases. I'm all about hanging out with friends and talking about the good old days, when Kiss was real. Do you remember when they were real? You remember when they were all, batting it in their prime and kicking ass and taking names? Yeah, well, we've got a lot of that stuff available to continue to enjoy, to continue to dig into. I don't need those stinking avatars right now, but who's to really say that down the road I don't see something like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool, I'm going to go check that out. What the fuck? I don't have to decide today and make it permanent. None of us do. Mark, avatars, not avatars.
Yes.
This is called like Kool-Aid drinking, this avatar
Easy.
shit.
Well, I decided to show that because I think right now the reason why I'm not interested in this at all is because I just can't imagine them putting in as much effort into this production as what ABBA did here. I mean, there's a whole documentary on the whole thing of them doing it. All the stuff they went and did to make it happen. And as you saw there, their audiences were way into it, and I just think it's also a different sort of audience to it. I think ABBA has a much bigger general population audience than Kiss does, for sure. I mean, I think that they're much more popular overall, and I think we think that the Kiss fans, there's a lot of them, like tons of them, but yet whenever there's stuff released, I always get the feeling that there's not as many people out there that are Kiss fans, serious fans, as we say there are. Because I mean, look at the Look It Up thing. That's still not sold out, and that's only like a couple thousand copies of something, and you're gonna need a hell of a lot more serious fans than that to make this Avatar thing work. Because look at the crowds that are going to that. I mean, they had red carpet events for all this stuff for ABBA. I cannot see something like that happening with the Kiss thing. Could it happen? Who knows? Right, but they're gonna have to do a hell of a lot more promotion for it, a hell of a lot more showing that they're trying to make it really, really spot on, to get people's interest, because all of you guys already have said that you're not interested in it, and people are saying, oh, it's for the younger generation. Okay, that's great. But for example, my young nephew, he's like 14 years old. He knows Kiss because of me, and I introduced him to Kiss when he was very young with the Scooby-Doo thing, with the Kiss thing there. And he likes Kiss, but he can name off 100 other bands that he's much more excited about. Metallica, all of these other bands. So, you don't rely on the younger generation. There's a lot of other stuff out there that they'll be a hell of a lot more excited about, in my opinion, than Kiss. Right? I think Kiss is a much more older generation band, unfortunately. So I'm just curious to see what happens. Right now, for me, I'm not too interested in it, but if they can bump it up, make it a little bit more interesting, because even the look of those avatars are really weird. Gene's face is really fat in that avatar that they showed. It looks weird. And you're expecting people to get excited about that when it doesn't even look at its best. That's a mistake, in my opinion.
Yeah, at this point, I guess my final thought on avatars is ABBA was gone for 40 years. ABBA didn't crawl across a finish line live where they'd milked the audience for years.
Yeah.
Come on, this tour has gone on. The costs of going to this tour have increased. The cost of touring has increased. They have been around continuously for the last 23 years with very little break. It's not like absence is going to make the heart grow fonder. It's kind of, well, it may well for some people. For me, it's just like, exhale. It's kind of done. I'm like Boomer now. Get off my lawn. I don't need that newfangled shit. I've got the old original stuff. I've got all the memories that go back to when I became a fan, and I've got the people who were there in the beginning to tell me stories about seeing them in Lafayette's Music Hall in 1974. So I right now, again, I don't need that shit, but we will have to wait and see if it is shit or whether it has legs, and time will tell. I want to thank everyone who's chimed in with the comments, except for Chuck. That's a joke, Chuck, by the way. I do appreciate everyone who takes the time to join us live, to chime in with your thoughts, your opinions, always to these guys. I want to take the opportunity to wish everyone, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. It's that time of year. Enjoy the time as much as you can for whatever your circumstances are. And remember, if you're feeling down in the dumps and you need something to pick yourself up, turn on a podcast. Doesn't have to be this one. Turn on a podcast. Actually, turn on one that you hate, because it'll get you really mad, and that's good exercise. So for now, I want to thank everyone for joining us. I don't know if this is our last show of the year. If it is, we'll see you next year. And if not, we'll see you next week. So for now, from Ken, Lonnie, Mark, and myself, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.